What's going on, everyone? So all of Lakers Nation is anxiously waiting for that just notification, the red alarm bell of, hey, the Lakers have acquired Dejounte Murray. That seems to be the move that the Lakers are most focused on. That's the move that we keep getting countless reports of, like, hey, it's probably going to happen. That really has legs, right? You're seeing the reports that the Lakers are trying to get, Bruce Brown, Dejounte Murray. Maybe they try to leverage it to get both of them, right? Toronto maybe could facilitate a third trade, because that's kind of what this seems to be waiting on, is finding that third team to take D'Angelo Russell. Even Sam Amick recently made a report yesterday that said Dejounte Murray to the Lakers has real legs. It feels like the Lakers have separated themselves from the Dejounte pack, right? And we keep getting these reports, right? The Lakers are there. They just got to find that third team. But we got a report from Michael Scotto, as well as Jovan Buha, who basically had a conversation, kind of going back and forth, discussing kind of the situation going on with Dejounte Murray, D'Angelo Russell, and how D'Angelo Russell's recent play has kind of complicated things for the Lakers. It's kind of made things difficult and kind of made the Lakers kind of take a second glance of, like, wait a minute, should we keep D'Lo? Like, is D'Lo the right move to trade? Now, look, I have talked and expressed that, like, hey, I am all for trading Austin Reeves. If you don't have to find a third team and you could keep D'Lo and maybe even keep a first-round pick, because Atlanta really wants Austin Reeves. So if you could, hey, let's go get this deal done today. Go get Dejounte Murray, give up Austin Reeves. Maybe you could keep your first-round pick, or maybe you could keep at least the pick swap. So now you're doing a first with Austin Reeves and then whatever salary filler, right? Maybe you're throwing in a Max Christie or something like that. Whatever, right? You go and you get to keep D'Lo. You go get Dejounte Murray. You can make other moves. You can make other trades. And you're off to the races. Kind of give yourself a little time to evaluate, how does D'Lo and Dejounte Murray look together. If it kind of looks a little awkward, or D'Lo starts regressing because he's got to play alongside Dejounte Murray, well, now you got that pick swap and a bunch of other stuff to go and trade D'Lo and try to make that deal work, right? The Lakers would have options. And I understand the big concern is the finances, right? But look, the Lakers are very likely going to be in the aprons regardless. They even if they stand pat, LeBron's going to get a new contract, right? They're going to have to pay Max Christie. They're basically vet minimums anyway. Everybody's locked up long term. If you go get Dejounte Murray, it's not like he's not going to be making $25 million next year and it keeps climbing. Right? So he's already going to make more than D'Lo. Unless D'Lo demands $30 million, which he's not, no one's going to pay him that much money. Maybe you bump him to $20 million. The Lakers would be fine. They'd be in good shape. But here's what was said. So, according to Scotto, there are other players the Lakers are looking at that can round out the roster. When it comes to Tyus Jones, that's why I brought up the Wizards in a potential three-team trade. Lakers, are looking for a point guard, and Jones is a player they're looking at on an expiring contract, and a player who has a great assist-to-turnover ratio. Again, this full article, full conversation, in which he basically was relaying, like, hey, the Washington Wizards could be that secondary team that kind of comes in and helps facilitate with the Atlanta Hawks. And the Lakers could figure stuff out to maybe get Tyus Jones and get a Dejounte Murray. And then now you have Tyus Jones in a backup role. You'd have Dejounte Murray as your starting role. I would absolutely love that, but we'll touch on that here in a moment. It's continued. Buha says, the level that D'Angelo Russell has played has made them, Lakers, rethink things a little bit as far as the caliber of player they'd be willing to give him up for. On paper, that Gabe Vincent contract would be one they'd love to move, but with 2 years left on that deal and him still recovering from knee surgery and an unclear timetable, I don't know how a team can take that contract on without some concerns about that money. The other guy they could move is Rui Hachimura, but then they'd be creating different problems potentially in your front court, where you'd be losing your third best front court scorer behind LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So again, couple things. So let's break this down one sort of one piece at a time. As far as the Wizards being a third team, right? Tyus Jones is an expiring contract, so you could look at this two ways. You could work something out with the Wizards to maybe where Tyus Jones ends up going to Atlanta on an expiring deal. I don't know how that would work with Trae Young, but maybe Atlanta would be looking at it as like, hey, Tyus Jones is a backup to Trae Young. Maybe we don't start Tyus. We have him as a backup. Maybe that would be interesting or interested in. What does that cost the Lakers? And that was something else that was brought up in the interview, was like, it just all comes kind of down to cost. Like, what would that third team want? What would that third team be asking for? But Tyus Jones is a guy that is very likely just going to leave in the offseason, so they're going to want to recoup something. To me, if I'm the Lakers, I would try to leverage it to where, can you get, one, I would like to get multiple pieces from Atlanta, right? Work something out in that regard, or get multiple pieces from the Wizards. But again, it's like, what on the Wizards makes a ton of sense outside of Gafford, right? Could you do something to where you get Tyus Jones, Gafford, and you get a Dejounte Murray? And, maybe the pick swap is going to this is why I think if you traded Reeves, this would make things so much easier, right? Because what you could do is you could probably still trade D'Lo, trade Reeves, trade everything. Imagine if the Lakers got a return of Tyus Jones, Daniel Gafford, Dejounte Murray, and then like a Hunter or a Bogdanovich. To me, that's a home run. You trade Reeves, you trade D'Lo, you give up the first, you give up the pick swap, you give up, maybe a second or two. Everyone's happy, right? Maybe Reeves in the first goes to Atlanta for Dejounte Murray. Maybe the pick swap and D'Lo plus whatever else, maybe throw in a Max Christie or a Jalen Hood-Schifino or whatever, goes to the Wizards. You get back Tyus Jones, you get back Daniel Gafford, you get back, a Hunter or a Bogdanovich, and you get back Dejounte Murray. Now you basically would have a starting five of what? You'd have Dejounte Murray, let's say you get Hunter, right? So you go Dejounte Murray, Hunter, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Sounds pretty good to me. And then you have a bench unit of like Tyus Jones. You'd still have Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince, but more likely than not, we'll leave Gabe Vincent out of the conversation because he hasn't played all year, and who knows when and if he comes back. So we'll leave him out of the conversation. But so you'd have a bench of like Tyus Jones, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, and you'd have a Daniel Gafford. Again, that sounds pretty good to me. And if you traded Rui, you traded Reeves, you traded whatever, maybe you could even get a Clint Capella and then have, Clint Capella, Anthony Davis in the starting unit, maybe LeBron at 3, you'd have Hunter at the 2, and then Dejounte Murray at the point. There's just so many options and possibilities that you could do if you were willing to trade Austin Reeves. And you'd be incredibly deep, and yes, you'd be over the taxes and all that stuff, but who cares? You're literally a 10-man roster deep with 3 stars and high-quality role players that all fit, that would all just be great, and you're in a good position. And then you'd still have a bunch of picks that are opening up and a bunch of tradable contracts and salaries and all that stuff. Like, what more could you ask for if you're the Lakers? So to me, I just think you do what you got to do to get this kind of stuff done. Right? If you just opened up, nobody on this roster, although if D'Lo keeps playing the way he's playing, I would say him. But outside, let's remove D'Lo from the conversation for a moment, because he's playing like unbelievable. Who on this roster, not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis, has played good enough to be untouchable? Rui hasn't. Austin Reeves hasn't. Jared Vanderbilt you can't trade, so you don't have to worry about him, so we'll leave him out of the conversation. Right? Like, nobody on this roster has been good enough, has been that good. It's like, man, you can't, like, man, we would suffer a huge loss if we lost that guy. So what are we talking about here? Like, if you can go and basically revamp your roster, get upgrades at multiple positions, essentially fix all of your holes, why wouldn't you do that? Do it. Get it done. Like, get that done. And I don't know. It's just, look, the Lakers are in a position to where, like, even if you just got Dejounte Murray and Tyus Jones, like, that would be solid, but the Lakers would still need to get some other stuff. You still got to get a backup big, right? You still got to do a couple things, right? And, like, let's say the Wizards don't want to trade Gafford, then maybe just go get Clint Capella, right? And be like, hey, we'll take Clint Capella, basically clear your books for you, and we'll work it out and orchestrate it, but, you know, a pick swap's got to go to the Wizards for helping with salaries and stuff, whatever, right? That's something that you could definitely do. But as far as, like, you know, the D'Lo trade and making things complicated, I mean, it makes sense that it would. Right? I get the concerns about the contract. Like, oh, well, you may have to overpay. Like, that's going under the assumptions that he's going to demand $30 million, even if he continues to play. I don't see that happening, right? Like, maybe he gets a bump to $25 million or something like that, and you could throw some stuff up. But if he continues to play this way, guess what? He's going to be a valuable tradable asset. If he plays this well, gets a new contract, and then continues to play that way, guess what? He's going to be valuable. People are going to want to trade for him. There's going to be a team that's like, hey, we could use a point guard, and D'Lo's out here averaging 20 and 9 or whatever, right? Like, imagine what he could do if he wasn't playing alongside Dejounte Murray, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. It's just, so I don't have any real concerns about that. To me, it's like, get the deal done and then figure it out. If you want to trade D'Lo, like if you get Tyus Jones and you get Dejounte Murray, then it makes no sense to keep D'Lo. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to keep D'Lo if you go and trade for Dejounte Murray, just because I think you're going to run like, why has D'Lo had his emergence? It's because he's playing point guard and he has the ball in his hands and he's able to make the decisions, right? As soon as you get Dejounte Murray, you're taking the ball out of his hands as he kind of regress. So to me, just trade area, unload this roster, go all in, push chips into the table. You owe LeBron James and Anthony Davis that. If it doesn't work, and say you go and get everything that I mentioned, and it just doesn't work and things are bad, at least you did something. At least you tried. At least it's like, hey, the Lakers just didn't stand pat, right? And you're the Lakers. You'd have more things, more opportunities. All of those guys would be very tradable contracts. Dejounte Murray, you'd probably still be able to get something for. Tyus Jones, you'd be able to get something for. Right? If you could get a Daniel Gafford, teams would like Daniel Gafford. Right? You get Bogdanovich, teams are going to want Bogdanovich. If you had to, you could even go deeper and, Jared Vanderbilt becomes available next year. You could trade Jared Vanderbilt if you need to. Like, you'd have options and flexibility. You'd have draft picks opening up. You'd have all kinds of things. The Lakers will be fine. To me, I just look at it, get the deal done. Get it done. Quit playing games, quit messing around, right? If you give up Reeves, you don't have to worry about finding a third team. But if you still want to find that third team and get some other pieces from them, then perfect. Because other than that, it's like, what are you going to be able to give to a team do the Wizards really want to let Tyus Jones go for 2 seconds? Right? Yeah, maybe they get D'Lo. Right? But is D'Lo a guy that they're looking at for long-term plan? Like, oh man, this is the guy we want to keep long-term and pay him? Maybe, if they do. But if they did, they'd probably be making a push to trade for him. Right? So, but I mean, they could look at it as like D'Lo's an upgrade over Tyus Jones. And we'd also get maybe 2 seconds or something, or a second for doing the favor. So you're actually, not only are you getting the better player, but you're also getting like an asset or something for that. Maybe, right? Even if it is a second, you're going to lose Tyus Jones anyway. And the Lakers now get Tyus Jones and Dejounte Murray and maybe in a better place. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely worth the conversation. It makes sense. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think that the Wizards make sense? Do you think, hey, go get Tyus Jones, go get Dejounte Murray? Problem is, then, if you go get Tyus Jones, yes, you could play Gabe Vincent alongside him for the defensive purposes. However, you probably got to look to move Gabe Vincent in the offseason. So if you're the Lakers, your hope is Gabe Vincent returns, he plays well, he looks good in the playoffs, and then you can trade him in the offseason. That's kind of the hope, right? But anyway, again, however you feel, what your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.